Former federal prosecutor Joe Moreno joins me. This is all about January 6th in the case here.
That's right. That's right.
I don't like any of this. I think it's, I don't know what, he goes way too far in my mind. And then we get this 14 pages and 8 are blacked out.
This is about as heavy-handed a prosecution can get. I mean, this is the massive power that a prosecutor's office has, and everybody should be wary of what this means. It's not a surprise to look at someone's social media account. I mean, that's actually pretty standard.
That's public. It's public. Yeah. It's out there. You put it out there.
But even his drafts and his direct messages, I mean, people should realize, be careful what you put on social media.
Well, you could change your mind with the draft, too. You could write something that's inartfully drafted and then not post it.
True. But what's surprising here, though, is that last part that you mentioned. Names of people who favorited or retweeted Donald Trump's tweets. That's tens of millions of people. He had something like 60 or 70 million followers at one point. What are they going to do with that? That's what really jumps out at me is, like, why is a prosecutor's office looking at people who followed Donald Trump, and what will happen with that information? And look, they really want to tie Trump to the violence of January 6th. If they could, they would, but they have not charged him with insurrection or sedition or anything like that, nor has he been tied to any of the 1,000 or so cases prosecuted right here in Washington, D.C. Clearly, that's what Jack Smith was combing for, some way to connect Donald Trump to what happened on January 6th. Clearly, the fact that that was going on in January, the indictments came out in August, he couldn't find it.
It is heavy-handed. I mean, I think it's way over the top. The worst I've seen. But you think is that it's one thing to take your public tweets because you put that out on public display. But when you go back and you find out who favored your tweets, I mean, maybe you did it, maybe I did, maybe Trump said something that was funny or stupid that we thought we wanted to retweet. So we're now brought into this dragnet.
And that's why I think Twitter fought so hard against this non-disclosure order. Because remember, Jack Smith not only demanded Twitter hand over this information, he also had a court order saying that Twitter couldn't tell anybody that this information
Why did the judge grant that? I thought that was incredible. I mean, this judge first of all, the idea that she has a March 4th trial date and there's 66 or 68 million pages to read is obscene, that, she would put that pressure on a defense team.
It's unusual. When I was
unusual or obscene?
Well, I mean, historically, witnesses, if you're interviewed by investigators or even brought before the grand jury as a witness, there's nothing stopping you from talking about what the questions that you were asked or what you testified to. That was routine. And so that's why investigators were careful who they interviewed. Now it's becoming more and more aggressively routine that they get these non-disclosure orders from courts. And that's what happened here. And apparently Twitter appealed it and still lost. So courts are giving prosecutors a lot of leverage here, a lot of leeway to do this.
Whatever happened to the Constitution?
I mean, look, it's First Amendment, it should be front and center here. Look, there's plenty of things for them to go after Donald Trump for, but they're really pushing it in terms of these gag orders and this Twitter subpoena, and they're going down these First Amendment rabbit holes that I don't get. So I don't know if it's intimidation, if it's scorched earth, or if they know their cases are kind of wobbly and they're just throwing everything they can at it.
I guess that's another point. If your case is strong, you don't have to do things like this necessarily, if you're confident of your case as a prosecutor.
What I see is overreach. I see screaming, we're going to do everything we can to throw at the wall to see what sticks. That shows me you're not confident in the core of your case, and so therefore you're trying all kinds of other stuff.
Marcia Clark did the same thing, the O.J. Simpson case, overreach and overcharge. Look what happened to her. But anyway, with that case, Joe Moreno, thank you.
Thanks, Greta.